Hello there, everybody. And Playback is going to give us their side on why the justice system failed Tory Lanez. You know what's crazy? I was scrolling on Twitter randomly, and then I seen that somebody tweeted at them that their take on this video was an L, and they didn't even watch the video. And I, the only reason I seen that is because Low retweeted at him. I was like, "How you gonna say the video is an L when you didn't even watch it?"
No, man, the verdict just came
But
in.
let's see.
Tory Lanez is found guilty on all three charges, man. For people who don't know, sentences could be as high as 22 or 25 years. Yeah, it is a lot,
Yeah.
man. It is a lot. You would think he murdered her. So, for those who don't know, we actually did a video last week kind of covering over the first week of the trial, 2-week trial. Meg took the stand, told her side of the story. If you don't know, long story short, after leaving the Kylie Jenner kickback party, they went into the car, met the stallion, Tory Lanez, Kelsey Harris, and Quan, the bodyguard slash driver, were all in the car. There was a verbal altercation. The climax of that confrontation was Meg slandering Tory's
Yeah.
rap career. She then gets out the car. Tory grabs a gun and somewhere near around the car, around the window, shoots at her feet 3 to 5 times and tells her, "Dance, bitch, dance." The story itself sounded a bit hyperbolic, a bit
Mm-hmm.
colorful. So that's why a lot of people were waiting for more information to come out. Her best friend, Kelsey Harris, took the stance in a deposition back in September, this year September, even though the events happened 2 years ago. In a deposition, she claimed that she more or less cooperated with Meg's story. Maybe a few details here and there weren't the same, but more or less cooperated, saying that she saw Tory Lanez shoot Meg. She then takes a stance, however, last week, says a lot of
That
things
was
that
a
I
lie.
said
Yeah.
a week in the deposition were lies. I'm here now to straighten the lies. And not only did she not really straighten any lies, she started pleading the fifth, saying that I didn't see anything. She said she didn't know. Really got nowhere with that. So this past week, the two witnesses that we saw, the two people they brought to the stands were EJ, which is Meg Thee Stallion's hairstylist,
Oh.
and he basically just confirmed that there was a lot of drinking going on, a lot of, you can definitely argue, slandering Meg's credibility, and then also a neighbor who unequivocally said that he saw a fight that did transpire before the shooting occurred. Now the witness as a neighbor, he claimed that he saw some pew pews go off near a woman, and also saw some pew pews go off near the shorter man being Tory. You don't know,
Oh.
Tory is a bit
I
shorter,
didn't know
and
that.
Quan, the bodyguard, he's a bit taller. He said he definitely heard and saw a verbal altercation happen between Meg and Kelsey. He also saw a physical altercation between those two as well. And then he claimed that after the physical altercation was broken up by one of, if not both men, allegedly Kelsey went to the car, or one of the women went to the car, got the pew pew machine, then pew pewed towards another woman's direction.
Bro.
That kind of brought up the situation, or the idea that Kelsey might have actually been the one who pew pewed at Megan. So that was his side of the story. The problem though with his side of the story, he also claimed that one of the women got jumped by all other 3 individuals, and then also was trying to drag them to the river. So who knows? Who knows? His story was very colorful as well. So who knows what happened? My takeaway from this is, I didn't think that there was enough evidence to
Yeah, I thought it was
convict
gonna be in this
Tory on
case,
all
or to
3.
go and drop it.
In terms of him possessing a firearm, that was pretty, I mean, it was kind of tough for him to get out of that, especially because there's too many people who claim that they saw him with a weapon. There's a lot of things that point out that he did not pew pew Meg Thee Stallion, and more importantly, I think it is very interesting how they came to that conclusion, especially because the jurors, after talking about it for a while, just yesterday they decided they wanted to re-listen to the recordings from the interview from Kelsey back in September. They decided that that's what they wanted to more so rely on. So another takeaway I get from this is, bro, the LAPD and really everything was just a joke to me. The whole trial was a joke.
Yeah,
The trial
LAPD
was a
makes
joke.
me very nervous.
Yeah, LAPD was also
more
terrible.
than Georgia PD anywhere here. Atlanta, Cobb. I would rather go to Clayton County and get caught up than go to fucking LAPD. I don't know why, bro. There's a few things about this case that were interesting to me. One, witness testimonies are notoriously inaccurate. That's because the human brain fucking sucks. I remember watching a show on it on Netflix. I think it was called like Brain Games or something like that.
Yeah.
And he played a test to see how much you can remember in the event of a crime. And it was astonishing how inaccurate and inefficient the human brain is at remembering small details, which is why witness testimonies aren't usually the primary source of evidence when you're trying to convict somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, assuming it's the same in this country, in Canada, when you're in criminal court, you have to get the jurors to believe beyond a reasonable doubt. That's the standard.
Yeah.
Beyond a reasonable doubt. And I would struggle to believe that this was beyond a reasonable doubt,
Yeah.
mainly due to the fact that the DNA results were inconclusive, so there was no way to prove that Tory was the one that actually shot it, except for witness testimonies. But the witness testimonies are even weaker due to the fact that they were all drunk. And so the only person in this situation that probably had a sober testimony would be the neighbor, but then his story sounded crazy too.
It all sounded crazy. Yeah,
so people all of that being said, it doesn't mean he did or didn't do it. It just means that I can't possibly believe that it happened beyond a reasonable doubt. But that's me. Look, at the end of the day, witness tampering exists. Kelsey said a whole bunch of things on record, and then next thing you know, she's trying to back up from those statements saying, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure. I plead the fifth. That wasn't true. I honestly, I didn't even know why I said that.
I'm actually surprised the judge allowed her to stay on the stand that long. Because even when we were getting information from it, and to be fair, the information the public was receiving was very exclusive and selective to whatever was given to us. So it's not like we have everything. Kelsey could have been on the stands sweating profusely while she sat there and was rearranging her story. Like, we actually don't know. This whole thing was crazy. Oh, let me say this about the DNA thing. Yeah, for people out there who don't know, because it is true, Tory's DNA or fingerprints was not found on the magazine. However, the DNA and fingerprint on the gun was inconclusive. However, both experts that came from both the defense and prosecutor side, they both sat there and said if he did indeed
that would be his DNA on the gun
3 to 5 times, they would believe that his fingerprints would be on the gun pretty concretely. So the simple fact that that wasn't there is also interesting. However,
you think he was wearing gloves?
But then if he was, no, I don't think he was.
I think he cleaned it.
So that was the other conversation. However, if he cleaned it, I think both Meg and Kelsey's story would have said that he cleaned it before the police came. Mm-hmm. And then when you go look back at it, if I'm not mistaken, Tory was the first one out the car, already laying on the ground, and then Meg, and then Kelsey came out. So if I'm not mistaken, Kelsey was the last one who came out the car. I could be mistaken by that. This is not like Law and Order, bro. It's not like they just get a bunch of semen sample and, and he's like, oh, I got it. They just sit there and examine it like, yeah, that's it right there.
Why is he holding it like that?
That's not how it goes. I remember I got robbed before at my house, and the people who robbed me opened up the window, picked up a glass, put it to the side, and then hopped in our house and hopped in the window to our house. And they were not able to, even though he was a touching shit, if you can borderline get his fingerprint on the damn glass, it wasn't enough to actually get a clear match. So This isn't Batman Arkham Asylum. Way more to it. And unfortunately, everything was inconclusive. The reason why I said the LAPD thing is crazy is because somebody, even though originally Meg had sat there and said she stepped on glass, and that was her original story, that was the original story, they got called because of the gunshots, and they got there, and for whatever reason, Kelsey's fingerprints nor Quan's fingerprints were ever taken. To me, that's the reason why it was lazy. Even the way that they talked about it and they discussed and who they interviewed and how they did things, all of that was lazy. It was a lot of things that the sad part about it is, even though Meg believes that Tory did it, I don't believe that I would assume that even after everything and hearing what everybody had said, especially
he's wavering a little bit
there, and her whole testimony just shifts completely, and then somebody else saying something else drastically different from your story. Even though, yes, Meg sat there and said that he did it and now he's in jail, I don't even, if Meg is there, I don't think that she's really even still pleased with how everything transpired herself. Like, everybody just went through her personal business, and her friend literally switched up her whole story about what ended up happening that night at the last minute, and you thought that was going to be your actual best eyewitness, and come to find out it wasn't on the trial. So, hey man, Meg got what she wanted, but I don't think anybody who's following this does not believe that there was enough evidence to convince him beyond a reasonable doubt for Tory to be
like, if he got convicted and knows like 100% positive that he did it, I'm like, okay, cool, lock him up. He did it. I don't care. But with this, everything is unconclusive, and they're like, toss him in jail. That made no sense.
On all three, though.
I don't even know how that's possible.
A fiasco where it kind of like the Johnny Depp trial, where it became entertainment for a lot of people, and people began to pick sides and affiliations and ride with that side and affiliation. But both of these guys do not know who you are and do not care about
That's
you.
true.
Some people were making it to a black woman issue. It's not. In all reality, when a crime is going on in a vehicle, unless someone is recording, you're kind of relying on witness testimonies and DNA, because how else are you supposed to get evidence? Like, the truth is elusive, and there's no way to verify anything. The system is not perfect at all. In fact, there's millions of fucking flaws in it. And so I'm pretty sure Tory's gonna maintain his innocence. Like, he's not ever gonna, I don't think he's gonna come out on a documentary and be like, yeah, I shot that bitch. I told her dance, bitch, dance. I think this just became entertainment for a lot of people.
And just to also be fair, because I think many people who are saying that Tory didn't do it or there's not enough, to be fair to Meg's side, I think, and I also think to be fair to the jury, because I think a lot of people are trying to figure out, like, how did they come to this conclusion? I think what
that's what I'm trying to figure out.
The whole court case was such a shit show that I think a lot of jurors probably just decided to opt in to utilize a lot of the information that was previously brought in and beyond people's testimonies, because it just didn't seem and feel as if like anybody was in that courtroom telling the truth. And that's really the sad part, bro. It is not even the eyewitness. I'm like, bro, he literally sat there and said 3 people were jumping one of the women, and it seemed as if like they were about to drag her into the river. I was like, bro, what did you see? Like that's just as crazy, if not more crazier, than Meg's story. Like, I have no idea. Your story is crazier than Meg's, and I didn't even think Meg's story was like believable at all.
Do you think the social pressure of like how much attention the case was getting had anything to do with it?
With whose decision?
Jury.
From my understanding, when it comes to jury selection, they make sure that these people are not influenced at all. So these are people.
Marcel.
But no, I'm telling you. But also from what I understand, the age of these people, I don't know how much information they would know about it either. Her claiming that she stepped on glass.
They're the jurors in the most popular trial going on right now.
Oh well, they claim that allegedly, this is what a lawyer told me, that normally this type of jury selection with this high profile of a case, they send them home immediately and they cannot touch their phones for as long as they're on trial. Not send them home. They send them to a hotel room.
So you think they were living without internet for weeks?
I fail to believe that, but that's what some people believe. So that's the other part. Let me actually say that. Let me touch upon that real quick.
The hotel didn't have no Wi-Fi?
No, I don't believe that. But let me touch upon that, because that's another thing that people also talk about as well. And to the lawyer who I talked to, I wish I knew her name. I believe in practice all that sounds great. The other reason why, especially men, in particular black men, were kind of pause until we hear both sides is because of injustice that tends to happen. The way that Tory was treated, he was treated as if like he was guilty first. He did not have no innocence at all. There was no time to prove him whatsoever, especially in public opinion. And we all know for a fact that's how most of America treats black men in general. So it's not as if like we're not trying to protect Meg. It's just the fact that we already know how the criminal justice system works in disfavor for black men. We know how that works off the rip. So the reality is that even though yes, y'all are sitting here telling me, oh well, we should just accept, especially some people on the timeline are sitting here telling me, oh we just need to accept the verdict. Oh it's this, that, and the third. Oh y'all still don't want to protect. I'm not. It's not that I don't want to protect her. It's just the fact that after listening to everybody's testimony, listening to everything that happened, it is very clear, nigga. Everybody who took stands was lying in some capacity. And I know that's like how normally court proceedings work, but my goodness, I left the trial believing myself like I don't know who the fuck's telling the truth. I don't even know anything they're saying is telling the truth, and everybody's lying. So because of that, it's just putting disfavorable positions to everyone, including the victim, because I don't believe that she even feels confident about what happened after everything was said and done. When I'm hearing 3 different other stories, and the story that I told, if I'm Meg, I told a story that not only does Tory's side saying is different, Kelsey now came on the stand and said is also different, and the neighbor who's impartial is saying something different from my story as well. So I don't even think Meg is completely confident either A, what happened that night, because she was drunk, and also B, I don't think that she's confident about what Kelsey did either that night. So I just think that because after all of that, even though I do believe because of that, it's not enough to convict this man beyond a reasonable doubt. But bro, it's a bunch of shenanigans, nigga.
I think the jury picked the person they thought was most likely that did it.
Yes.
Not the person who did it beyond a reasonable doubt.
I believe that as well, actually. I do believe that as well.
Yeah, and it's like, that's not the standard they were supposed to meet, but I mean, fuck it. They're the jury, so.
Hey, man, let us know your comments in the comment section below. Also, check out the last video, man. It was pretty funny, man. Go check it out, man.
Yeah, it was.
And until next time, man, we'll see you all later.
Yeah, about this. I wonder if he could get it like retrial. Like, basically 20 years with zero evidence presented. This is scary. Yeah. He knows how to cheat the system. That's good. Tory was not charged for shooting at Meg. If that was the case, he would have won that easily. He was charged for negligence. discharge of a firearm having an unregistered firearm, and I can't remember the last one. There was evidence he discharged the firearm with gunpowder. Is that it? But 20 years for that? Assault with semi-automatic handgun. Let me know how you guys think. So, how you guys feel. See ya. Like, subscribe. See you guys later. Hope you have a good day or night. Bye.